wasn't a one-off, it's not an accident, but an incident that was foretold by the residents, forewarned by fire experts, the FBU, the all-party parliamentary group, and it was foreseeable and utterly preventable, and it should have been. Caused directly by government policies. Cameron called for a bonfire of red tape, and Grenfell was his obscene bonfire of real people. In Scotland, they actually did listen to the warnings after fires. In England, they didn't listen to Sam Webb and other people's suggestions after the Lacknell fire and actually review the building regs and do something about it. But in Scotland, after the Irvine fire, when some people died in I think, Ayrshire, they did actually review their building regulations and change them, which is why there haven't been any deaths in high-rise buildings in Scotland, and none of their cladding panels, I think, have come up as being flammable. I agree with John McDonnell and Steve and Dave and other people use this term social murder. I agree that the deaths of people at Grenfell is social murder, or maybe it's state murder, state terrorism. At work, workers die usually in ones and twos, invisibly. Nobody really knows about them. Occasionally they die in larger numbers. But again, most of you probably won't have heard of them, I'm sure. How many people know that 2 years ago this week, 4 people died in Bosley in a wood flour mill, which had been taken over by an incompetent employer who allowed wood dust to build up. And most of you will know that if dust builds up in the right combinations, it can become explosive. It exploded, and 4 people were killed, many more were injured. The whole community was utterly devastated. One of the workers was vaporised and has never actually been found. And Didcot, where workers were demolishing a boiler house of the Didcot power station, and they were under the structure, 10 stories high, full of loads and loads of metal, tons and tons of it, and they were cutting the uprights to weaken them, preparatory to explosively demolishing them, and the building came down. 4 workers were killed, 1 was found right away, 3 workers were under 38,000 tonnes of rubble for 6 months before they found them. But mostly, workers die in incidents at work, relatively invisibly. They become injured and nobody really hears about them. They die of illnesses caused by their work, at home, in hospital, in hospices, and nobody really knows about them. Grenfell has changed all of that, in the sense that it was public, it was visible, and the Grenfell survivors are making sure that we know all about it, and everybody's getting behind this. Even the tabloids are talking about deregulation having gone too far. So, deregulation attacks on health and safety, they're all based on lies and propaganda backed up by the corporate tabloid press. I think it's really incredible to see the tabloid press actually talking about health and safety in a positive way for a short period. But the Daily Mail had a cover with a picture of Grenfell on it and said, how did this happen? How did it bloody happen, Daily Mail? Because you spent your whole time pouring out poison about how health and safety is completely useless and stupid and we should get rid of it. How do they do this? We've had endless reviews of health and safety, endless reviews. Hampton reviews under Blair and Brown, the Lord Young review, which wasn't worth the paper it was written on, was based on no evidence at all, it was just particularly made up under Cameron. Other reviews about all of this, but they're always on biased terms. They're never, let's see how good health and safety is, how we can make it better, how we can stop people being killed, how we can stop people being made ill. They're always based on the fact that it's a truth that health and safety regulation is a burden on business, it's unnecessarily stupid and we must get rid of it. Never about how is it a social good, what is the value of it, it's a moral imperative not to kill and injure people. That is never the case, so they're always biased. Some of the lies it's based on as well is that modern work, modern life it's very little harm now. People say, not many people get killed at work. Well, they actually do. At least 1,200 people are killed in incidents at work every year. About 50,000 people die of illnesses caused by their work. 620,000 people are injured. About 2 million minimum are made ill every year. That's out of a workforce of 32 million. But just think about that. The higher the risk, the further you go down the pay scale, the lower your wages, the higher your risk. So most of those figures are actually borne by the bottom half or third or quarter. And so it's very unevenly borne. And work is becoming, how much is that? Work is becoming more stressful and making people really ill. we have all this nonsense about it's just red tape and conkers, bonkers and all the rest of it. Employers will do the right thing. Well, we know that's absolute rubbish. Sam Webb has said about the whole cladding and insulation stuff and what's going on the outside of buildings. He said it's like wrapping aluminium foil around a fire lamp and slapping it on the outside of the buildings and hoping for the best. Health and safety is not a burden on business, it's only a burden on excessive profits. And it costs an enormous amount. Poor health and safety costs between 30 and 60 billion. The people who pay that cost are the people who are hurt or are killed, their families are people who are killed. But even so, the individuals pay 57% of the financial cost. We pay 24%, and the employers who cause that only pay 19%. So what do we want now? We've got to keep Grenfell in the public eye. We've got to make sure that we support the families, we get as much justice as we possibly can for them. We want as broad an investigation as possible. We have asked for ministers and prime ministers to be interviewed under caution. We want corporate manslaughter and gross negligence manslaughter and high-level health and safety charges to be brought if they can find the evidence, and Steve's going to talk a bit about that. And we want to keep pushing the responsibility, the accountability and the culpability up to the top. And we also want the inquiry to be as broad as it possibly can and look at the whole deregulatory framework in which Grenfell happened. And basically we need independent, fully funded health and safety enforcers with health, safety and welfare as their primary and only goal. Not at the moment, where they have to actually consider the impact, they have a growth duty on them, and they have to consider the impact of their regulation for health and safety on the growth and development of those businesses. Thanks very much.